Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Creepy Tales. I am your caretaker, George Lunsford. Well, let's see. We've talked about some pretty interesting creatures and phenomena so far. We've talked about witches. We talked about a creepy little doll. We've talked about ghosts. So, what are we going to cover tonight? Well, I think we'll talk about the Black Bird of Chernobyl. We'll start out with that, and I think you'll see as this goes along, this Black Bird of Chernobyl is basically the Mothman of West Virginia. We had the same description of the creature, and we'll start off with there and we'll move on. How's that sound? The Black Bird of Chernobyl, there were lots of sightings. And this happened in 1986 in April, or early April, I should say, in a little Ukrainian area known as Chernobyl, a nuclear power plant. Well, the nuclear power plant, as you know now, has become infamous for having been the world's worst nuclear disaster. Well, let's go back to say in early April in 1986, there were reports come in, first-hand reports, first-hand encounters with this blackbird. This large, dark, winged creature with no discernible head and large, deep red eyes. And it was even, the witnesses there was even including 4 Chernobyl plant workers. Now this creature, when they saw it, if they made a mistake of looking into this creature's eyes, they were just, had horrible nightmares. Almost as if they could see what was coming. They seen death, they seen destruction in their nightmares, they seen the reactor melt down in their nightmares, and their friends die. I found one report, it was hard to find, that one of the workers saw his friend melt in his nightmare. And lo and behold, on the 26th of April at 1 a.m., his friend was one of the 31 casualties that actually melted into it. His spirit has said now to float and be stuck to that area. He's actually tied to the old nuclear power plant. But we won't get into that right now. Word is that this creature, wherever it's seen, death and destruction follows. Now, I don't know if this is a physical creature, if this is a creature sent here from God saying, look, this is going to be a disaster. You need to take care of this before it happens. Like a harbinger, a warning, telling you, look, something bad's going to happen here. Or if it's just a creature that causes this destruction somehow. I don't know how a creature would have caused a nuclear meltdown, but let's just say that I believe personally it's a harbinger. I don't think the creature itself means anything bad. To you, I believe it's saying, look, something bad's about to happen here. I'm warning you, this is going to happen. Something bad's going to happen here. I mean, this creature reportedly have been seen several places in the United States, one of which was the I-35 bridge in Minnesota that goes over the Mississippi River. And it was seen there, and lo and behold, smack down, the bridge collapsed. This thing was seen on a bridge up in West Virginia, and the bridge collapsed. This thing was seen, I think it was 2009, in Mexico. They had a major swine flu outbreak. There are stories, I don't know how true it is, that this Mothman was saw over the Twin Towers before September 11th, 2001. I find it hard to believe these are all coincidences. I mean, you have a creature that shows up and then death and destruction follows. You had, what was it? In Japan, this creature was seen over top of their nuclear reactors. And that, I can't pronounce the name of it, but it starts with an F. And it was seen there, and then a tsunami hit. And now it's leaking into the ocean, foreign radiation into the ocean, and has continued to. I mean, to me, this is not just a physical being. To me, this is a harbinger. It's telling you, I'm here, here's your warning, get your people out. Well, I mean, this hasn't happened, this is not that long ago. And now we're getting 55 reports in. The Mothman has been seen in Chicago. What's going to happen in Chicago? Are these viable sightings that was in Chicago, or are they not viable sightings? Let's take a deep breath and step back and take a look at the Mothman himself. I mean, where did this all begin? I mean, we know he's been seen in Russia. We know he's been seen in Minnesota. We know he's been seen in New York. We know he's been seen in all these places. But where did it start? Where did all of this chaos and catastrophe with this creature, where did it start at? It started in a little town in West Virginia when there were some workers out by a old, they call them igloos, but they're basically old weapon sites where they stored weapons and ammunition and all this stuff for the war efforts back in World War II. Well, up in this little place in Virginia, where there were these workers that were cleaning the sites up, removing all the brush and trying to get these sites cleaned out, trying to get sites around them cleaned out. They're actually going to restore these things for historical purposes, from what I understand. I've read several articles, and there are some confusion about that. But the people were up there, they were cleaning it out, and this is at night apparently, and this large creature, dark black creature with a humongous, gigantic wingspan, flew over top of them. And four or six workers, there's still a little bit of iffy on that. I've read some where it said 4 and some where it said 6. But they tell about this thing flying over top of them and buzzing them. I mean, down low enough to where this thing could actually touch their heads. It was reported. And, when you report stuff back in the 60s like this to the authorities, they kind of look at you like, okay, maybe he's been drinking just a little bit on the job there. But they took the statements, sent the guys home, and around 4 or 5 days after that happened, there was 2 couples went up there in their 1957 Chevy Bel Air, and I can only assume what they were going to do because, let's be honest, we all were young. We all used to take women out to make out, and maybe they don't have a make out point there. Their closest thing is the igloos of the old ammunition storage. So they go up there. This thing, they hear a noise, and everybody just starts getting concerned. They hear scraping, they hear all this weird stuff. They turn their headlights on. When they turn their headlights on, there's this, it looked to be around 7 foot tall, no discernible head, extremely deep red eyes staring at them. They just glowed at them in the darkness. Then it unfolded its wings, and the wings were supposedly 15 to 20 foot in wingspan. Now that's a huge creature, especially when you're up there to make out with your girl. You hear a noise, and you turn your headlights on, you got this big red-eyed sucker staring at you. Well, they take off, and apparently they hit, going down the highway, they're running over 100 miles an hour, which that car, I believe, they probably could. This thing's staying on top of them. This creature is flying over 100 miles an hour. Is that not insane? Well, they go back, they report it to the authorities, and there's these scratches and stuff on the vehicle. Look like something had dive bombing the top of their vehicle. Well, the sheriff takes everything down and he does an investigation. Okay. I don't know what an investigation looked like in 1966. I can say that they probably went out to the site. They most likely checked around for footprints. They checked around for everything basic. And most likely didn't find much. I mean, if this creature is a harbinger of death and chaos, then it probably wouldn't leave much of a tracks behind it. Probably wouldn't see nothing about it. Well, they went out, they did their investigation, and then there started being sightings coming in. Over 100 sightings come in. Over at a place called Point Pleasant, there was a bridge called the Silver Bridge, and this creature kept being seen around that bridge, over top of it, or talking landing on it, and all different times of day, night. It just didn't matter. These reports kept coming in of this creature on this, and well, it was reported. They found nothing over and over and over again, and then this bridge, that they believe was very well built and very sturdy, collapsed. Just boom, right down in the river, completely destroyed the bridge. After that, there weren't any sightings of this creature for a long time. And now we're getting 55 sightings over Chicago. I don't know where at Chicago. I can't get enough information because, I mean, let's face it, you talk about this, most people think you're crazy. And that's a fact. But here's the deal. This thing has been seen in Chicago, and they need to be doing some investigation. Somebody needs to go check out and find out why this creature's here. What's going to happen in Chicago to cause the Mothman to be there? I mean, what is there around there to happen? Is it going to be another fire like they had before? Are we looking at a flood? We're looking at a major snowstorm that's going to wipe out their electricity and cause lots of death and destruction. I do not know. I really don't. This needs to be investigated. Someone better than myself needs to see if we can do some research. I'm calling on you people. Do the research. Let me know what you find out about this creature and other creatures, especially the Mothman, because the Mothman, this will actually affect my family more than you would understand, because I'm about to have family in Chicago. So we need to get this thing investigated. We need to find out how we link the sightings of the Mothman to these events. And we need to figure out, is the Mothman a physical creature? Or is the Mothman a herald of things to come? Is he a harbinger telling you, this is what's going to happen? I'm here for you to see what's going to happen, and I bring destruction and death with me. Because it seems like the number of days between each account of when the Mothman was seen and the accident happened, it seems to have a pretty tight correlation between the bridges and Chernobyl and 9/11 and swine flu outbreak and all these other issues. The Japanese power plant that got destroyed. We need to figure out exactly what's going on with this. Now, y'all are probably a lot smarter than I am. I want to hear your thoughts about this. I want to hear your feedback. So contact me. Let me know what the deal is. You can contact me at I believe it's George Lunsford at WBUZ.com, WBUZ95.com, excuse me. Can't believe I forgot my own call letters. WBUZ95.com. George Lunsford at WBUZ95.com. Contact me. Let me know. Give me some feedback. you can go on our site, our website, wbuz95.com, and let me know something there. But let's put our heads together. The only way we can solve all these mysteries is together. We can't solve them by ourselves. We can't be the number of places we need to be. And if you're over in the Ukraine, if there's any pictures or anything that you have, I'd love to see them. And if there's anything you'd like to talk about, contact me. I'll talk about anything y'all want to talk about. But there is a Mothman Festival here in the United States, up in Virginia. And I don't exactly know what it is, but I'll find out for you. And maybe you'd like to come over and talk to, the Mothman Museum and get information from them. There's tons and tons of, I'm sure that there's something over in Ukraine that has something about what happened over there. There's got to be more information. Let's get this information out. Let's find out when all this happens, what all we can do to, find these answers. Let's find out about this Mothman, this harbinger of death and destruction. I mean, just the Ukraine, Chernobyl, they believe that because of this accident, over 500,000 people were exposed to this radiation. Now, I don't know how many of them have actually died. I know 31 in the initial thing, and I heard numbers, and I researched numbers, and I found everything between 100,000 people has already died of cancer from this, all the way down to 11. So I don't know for sure how many it was. But we need to find out this stuff, why this Mothman shows up. The Mothman Festival is actually September 15th and 16th this year, 2018. And I hope to be there. I'll be there in my book, and I'll try to be there in my book, I should say. If you're there, or if you're interested in ordering my book, come to the website. We're going to have all the information about the book. The book will be out towards the end of July. It's called Legends, Myths, Monsters, and Ghosts. And this is what I enjoy talking about. Now, if you have any myths and legends or ghosts or UFOs especially, I'm getting more and more into the UFO thing, send them to me. And I'll either do them on the radio station, or I'll put them in the book, or both. And if you send me the story, if you send me your encounters, any encounters you have, if you would like me to publish your encounter, then I'll be more than happy to do that. I can talk about and if you're close enough, we'll set up an interview. I'll interview you on the radio itself. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed our show. I hope if you have any information, any questions, anything you'd like to talk to me about, you'll drop me a line at George Lunsford at wbuz95.com. So, I'll let it go at that, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. And remember, look up in the skies. If you see that red-eyed Mothman, beware, because death and destruction may follow. Have a good night. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a correction on my Mothman show. I believe I gave you the wrong date for the sightings of the Mothman in Mexico. It was actually 2009. They had 398 people die of swine flu. With that correction made, I will say good night, sleep tight, and watch for those red eyes. Good night.